I need to get to work then. All right, so we're broadcasting now, but it'll take a few seconds to there'll be a delay on it, you see. So.
Oh, it says live now, yeah.
Yeah, so make sure you mute any streams or anything like that. So. All right, so let's have a look. Live control room. Are people telling us we're live yet?
I'm just checking right now.
We've got to wait for people to come as well. So, is there anyone there? Hello. There's always going to be a delay, but the stream's good, so that's always good. Got good stream status. So. Right, yes, we are here. All right, so I'll just give a minute or two for people to join, so we won't be repeating ourselves that way. All right, how is everyone? How's your weekend been? I guess it's Sunday morning for those in America, afternoon for England. In Korea, it's 10 o'clock.
Good night to everyone in Australia.
yeah. Right, so today I've got two extra special guests for everyone. I've got Nick, who is a co-founder of the wonderful website Fecking Bahamas. And I've got Tyler from the MathRock News Facebook page. So you guys want to jump in, say hello?
You want to start, Nick?
Yeah, all right. So so my name's Nick. I was a co-founder of Fecking Bahamas, which is a MathRock specific blog. We started in 2014 when we were living in Leeds. We decided to go down the path of making a blog, basically because we were really psyched on MathRock and we had a lot of ideas. We had been sort of forming a database of bands for one reason or another, and we decided, let's do something with that and let's try and make some sort of resource that people can use to learn about MathRock, the history, I guess the international overview of the genre. And I guess we sort of went from there, and now we have a podcast called Room Temperature Suite, which is hosted by Chris Walker and Santino Tartaglia in Rhode Island. We have a festival called Bahamas Fest, which is in Tokyo, which is run by Tak Yamamoto. And we just put out articles that are sort of related to the history of MathRock, and also we look at current releases and stuff like that. That's kind of what we do.
Awesome stuff. Yeah.
Awesome, yeah. Big fan of your stuff, Nick.
Yeah.
Thanks, buddy. I'm a big fan of you too. I've been following MathRock News, for a long, long time.
Yeah. So I guess so I'm Tyler, and I've joined the MathRock News a little bit later than the rest of the fellas, but basically it started with a group of friends, or a specific friend was Kristaps, and he started it off in around 2010, I guess. And he basically just wanted to show everybody MathRock. He wanted everybody to know about it, and he started doing reviews and interviews. He with drafts early on, and it just kind of was just to promote music. And then later, my other two friends, Brad and John, joined, and they asked me to join a few years later than that, and that's all. And there's Garrett as well. We've had a couple other people that have joined, but they're not with us anymore. And not that they passed away or anything, but they just didn't. They just aren't in the group anymore. Right. But it's pretty simple. We're definitely trying to expand on what we're doing because we have such a large fan base. We want to take advantage of that and do very similar things to what you're doing at Fecking Bahamas. And that's basically it for the intro, I guess.
I saw you have over 10K now on likes.
Yeah, that was
page, yeah,
that was really exciting when that first came up. It was right on the cusp for so long, and then then we finally got there. We should have made a post about it, but we never did. Maybe we will now. Yeah, exactly.
A belated post, you could do one of them.
Yeah, maybe when we get to 11,000, hopefully. But
I think one of my first MathRock related Bandcamp compilation downloads was probably a MathRock news one.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, cool.
Like maybe like a 2013 or something like that.
Yeah, so that was pretty cool. That we haven't been doing that lately, but it's hard to keep up. We don't have artists. That's the hardest part. Like putting together the music is easy. Like there's so much bands, and there's so many bands that want to go on there. And yeah, like because I'm sure with yourself as well, the bands probably message you, hey, let's post. Can you post our bands and stuff? And most of them are really nice enough to just want to be on the playlist because it gets a lot of exposure for them, right?
Yeah.
And so
yeah,
it's just,
definitely. Yeah. It's I guess it's trying to find the time because we do compilations as well. We've kind of restricted ourselves in a way because we try to do them region specific, so that we sort of like focus on one country or maybe even a continent at a time, just so we can sort of have like a more coverage, I suppose.
Those compilations are really cool, by the way. I really like them.
Oh, thanks.
yeah, very cool.
Yeah, awesome stuff there.
I've definitely found a few bands that way for sure.
Cool.
The world of math as well. Like, yeah, that's crazy. How many bands there are out there?
Oh yeah.
And there's more and more every year. Like it's insane how prolific the scene is becoming. Like it's insane.
Recently, I liked the digging up the past. What you did, finding the records that no one's ever heard of. Like
right on.
Yeah, I've got a few bands that have recordings but never been really put online. So,
right. That was cool. That was a really fun project that we all sort of did as a team. We just kind of went, well, there's all these really exciting bands that we kept on finding from like the 80s and stuff, like bands like Victims Family, the Tifa bands from Brazil, and we thought, man, we've got to try and like pull these together in some sort of way. And so we just decided, let's do like a list article. Like we're not really like big fans of like the listy sort of thing, but like we decided, let's just do like find 100 and then just put them out there, just so that these bands aren't lost with time, and basically sort of reinvigorate how good these bands are. Yeah,
it was really cool. I've been working my way through the list, reading the little blurb about each artist and then checking them out. But it's cool stuff. Like
cool. Yeah. It's as I said, like I mean, everyone just sort of like we all have these bands that we sort of cling to. Like I'm a big fan of like bands from the early 90s and the late 80s, and so for me it was a chance to get those out, and it was also for the other guys, like particularly from like because our writers from across the world, like Tiago, for example, he's from Portugal, and he has like this amazing brain with like he has a supreme knowledge of MathRock, and he had all of these bands from Portugal to feed into this article, and it's just like the way it came together was like it was almost like everyone was like, yes, I get to put in my band, and it's cool.
Oh, that's awesome. But how many people have you got like writing for Fecking Bahamas?
We have it comes and goes. Like people will like stay with us for a couple of articles and then kind of bail, which is cool. So I think usually we have about 15 or so active writers that feed into it. And Ali is who was on a previous episode. He's one of our writers, and Garrett as well. He writes for us from MathRock News.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah, great dudes.
Definitely.
Yeah, I think it's good because you can go there and you can check out all these bands and stuff. Because I have the problem of if I try to put any of their music online on YouTube, then I get the video get pulled or copyright claims. So I can't do that kind of thing. So so these pages are really needed. So all right. So introductions is fantastic. What should we move on to? I was talking about current events in the MathRock scene, I guess. you guys must know more on that than I do. But like maybe what albums? Sorry, my phone. What albums are you looking forward to, or what releases that are coming up?
Well,
looking forward to.
The big one for me for sure is Toe. Definitely Toe.
Yeah.
Like they always put out great music, and you never know what they might play. They have so much diversity in their sound, and that's always exciting because sometimes you almost expect certain things from certain bands, but with Toe, you don't know. I just hope it's gonna be sick, and I think it will be sick. There's a few other bands that are like in that will like Town Portal. I don't know when that's supposed to be coming out, but
Right.
I've seen a lot of videos and stuff in studio, but that would be really exciting. I really love the bass playing on that. Those are two off the top of my head. What about you, Nick?
I was definitely gonna rep Town Portal. I'm really excited about their upcoming album. I think everything that they have put out has been solid. So as soon as I saw that they were writing a new album, I was like, yeah, it's that's definitely a big one.
I only got into them quite recently. I only got into Town Portal quite recently. Someone on my channel recommended I check them out, but it's the Occident, I think it was the album.
Yeah.
That
was really good. That one is, yeah.
Oh yeah.
For me, it's got to be Delta Sleep, Ghost City. Yeah,
you're right. Yeah,
really
Delta Sleep. Yeah.
The Toe.
We've kind of been, I was going to say we've almost kind of been blessed with a lot of albums this year already, like with Giraffes and
Covet as well, right?
Covet was awesome. That is such a good record right now.
Yeah.
Especially they got the Mario feature from Chon. I'm like, I've been banging those tunes all day, listening to them every day. They're actually so good. Yeah,
I've got it on when I'm to and from work. I've had a few listens. I'm enjoying it, and the new drummer, I forget his name now. It really, I think, is a better match for them.
He is. Yeah,
technically the older drummer was still fantastic, but I just feel like the new drummer is just a better match. Like so.
Yeah, I was thinking we were thinking that this new drummer is like more invested, it seems, into the group. Like he wants to be there more, so he like wants to play that style more, and it's like I think that's why it comes off that way, and you can hear it in the music,
Yeah, he seems a funny guy as well. So
yeah,
I follow him on Instagram. So.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
They're all pretty funny. Like I follow the other two on Instagram, and funny posts all the time.
Well, did you see the Covet post yesterday on their Instagram? It was a guy went to the show with a T-shirt. I think it said like Covet are only popular because they have a girl guitarist who finger taps or something like that.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, like the bass player was like standing beside him. Yeah.
That was good. Man.
It's true though. It's definitely there's some truth to that.
No, this can be right, and so I guess those ones. What else can we talk about?
I reckon one of the questions that we get a lot, and I'm assuming that MathRock News gets a lot, is what band do you recommend to people that have never heard MathRock before?
That's a good one. That's a good one.
I've had that a few times as well.
Yeah. Sometimes it changes for me. Like sometimes I start with bands with vocals lately. I've always tried to do vocals. It seems like the easiest thing for people to wrap their minds around, because instrumental music, they listen to it sometimes and they go, like, what is this? It just sounds like jazz or random noise or something like that.
Yeah.
But
usually,
like
sorry, continue. Yeah.
Oh, sorry. So like This Town Needs Guns, I think is, or TTNG is the easiest one that to tell people. Or like lately I've been doing Tangled Hair because it's a little more accessible to people, and people can tune into the vocals, or they could listen to the actual instrumentals a little bit and think, wow, this is pretty cool,
I usually ask them like what bands do they like now, because then if they like a certain band, then I can kind of gauge they're probably maybe like this, or if they're into poppier sides of music, then yeah, definitely like the Tangled Hair or TCNG, stuff like that, Tube Lord, Color as well, like that. So if they're into heavier stuff, then yeah, start recommending more the other direction, right?
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I do that sometimes as well. Yeah, depending on who I'm talking to.
Yeah, I guess it sort of depends how mathy do you want to go?
Dip your toes in first, or
you can sort of do something with a bit like more of a like a pop sensibility, like TTNG, or someone said Invalids as well is a good one to do.
Really?
Yeah, I reckon Invalids would be a good one to do as well.
Yeah.
Or you could just sort of go the other end of the spectrum and do something like, I don't know, like Don Caballero from like American Don or something like that.
Or like, here's free bands. Like list of craziness,
Yeah. I've always sort of gone like at the really complex end, which is not a really good place to start. So just sort of go straight to like Three Shrub Tigers or You Slut or Don Caballero. It's something really ridiculous. Not really thinking out.
You Slut are very catchy though. Even though they're very.
I think so. Yeah, I think. Yeah.
They got some. It's like that when you go watch that live bands and they have that part in the song where everyone can sing along, or there's like some hook in it, kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's good to show people those kind of bands, I guess. So what got you into MathRock in the first place? What would you say? Like when? What year are we talking?
You can go first, Tyler.
Okay, I got it. All right. So around 2009, I'm like good friends with John and Brad, who are in the MathRock News, and we went to high school together. And so we would just like John. He started off listening to some bands like Behold the Octopus and Luchatistas. I'm probably saying that wrong, but he showed us in the car, and he was like, I was like, what is this? This is so bizarre, this music, And then from there we started listening to more conventional math rock bands, I guess, like TTNG and Piglet and Giraffes, Don Caballero. And so basically what happened was we'd go to my friend's place, and we would be searching music all night and bring it to my friend's place, and we would show each other these new bands we would find, and it would be constantly sick new bands because these bands are already established in the math rock scene, even though it's somewhat early, I guess, depending on your perspective of it. But that's how it kind of all started. We would just be like in almost a competition to see who could find the best band or something like that.
Nice. Yeah. How about you, Nick?
Yeah, I guess so. I heard the word mathcore before I heard the word MathRock. So the first time I heard the word mathcore was in relation to a band that's not really a mathcore band. Like it's more of, I suppose, a noise rock band called The Locust. So yeah, like I guess that was around the sort of the late 90s, early 2000s. Yeah, that was sort of a bit more sort of spazzy and like more cacophony than anything, I suppose. It would be like, I don't know, Dillinger Escape Plan or something. But nevertheless, so I was reading about them in a magazine. It was an interview with Justin Pearson, who was the bassist of The Locust, and he said something along the lines of, I despise music that's safe, that's in 4/4, and is predictable. It makes me want to throw up. And that sort of caught my attention. And then somewhere in the interview, they talked about mathcore, and that's how I sort of linked it up with The Locust. And yeah, I mean, that alone, it's a weird word, mathcore. I guess the core is the hardcore component, and then math was like, that confused me. And I guess I went back and listened to their music, and when I thought of math like mathcore, I was thinking sort of mathematics. And when I listened to it, I had this weird epiphany that's like, hang on, this isn't actually just like ruckus and like musical chaos. This is like highly calculated, highly complex music. And I kind of did like my brain kind of did like this 180, and I was kind of like, wow, mathematical music is like really, really complex music. And then so from there, I kind of got into mathcore as a genre. So I was listening to like bands like Botch, Coalesce, Dillinger Escape Plan, sort of bands from that time. And then I guess like I went into MathRock. I guess a couple of years later, that would have been around the early 2000s. Bands like what was he into? The Cranium, Frodus, 31 Knots, Roadside Monument. They were sort of the bands I got into, and then I had a bit of a hiatus, and then got into the UK scene. I guess late 2000s, which I mean, Stevie, presumably you sort of know that, like that sort of way.
That was my golden age, I guess. Of watching bands.
So I got into bands like U-Slut and Three Trap Tigers and
nice.
Bands.
I think I came back into it a similar way to you. Is in like the technical side of music, because I was at studying guitar at college at the time, like and you'd be getting into all your virtuoso kind of guitarists, and then you with your friends and listen to all kinds of different kinds of music, and I got attracted more to not the shredding style of guitar, but more like the odd phrasing and odd timing side. And I think the first kind of bands I started listening to was like probably like At the Drive-In, the Mars Volta, and then it went to like the Fall of Troy, and then that's where it all started, I guess, when I got into math, especially with the Fall of Troy, with like guitar tapping and stuff like that. That's what when I heard that is what I wanted to learn at the time, and I kind of just went from there, I guess. And I started getting into all kinds of different bands from there. Yeah.
Cool.
Awesome.
Yeah. Kind of got from different areas.
But I was listening to all the heavier technical side as well, like you said, with Dillinger Escape Plan. I wasn't particularly a fan, but I appreciated it, and I did learn Sugar-Coated Sour because I had to play that when I was at university. you had to do a performance where you played two contrasting pieces of music, so on your own to a backing track. So I chose Reeling in the Years by Steely Dan and Sugar-Coated Sour by the Dillinger Escape Plan.
Wow.
Played them back to back. The lecturer, my professor, was just like what was that?
Did you throw in the Dillinger vocals as well?
Yeah. no, it's just this MIDI backing track, and just like you can imagine how bad it sounded, like with MIDI Dillinger Escape Plan.
Did you play like them live, like throwing around their guitars and stuff? And
right, you're in this auditorium and you're in the center of it, and everyone watching with a spotlight on you. It's like that was a nervous performance. Let's put it lightly.
That's all good though.
Cool stuff. So the UK MathRock scene. So I spoke about that in my last podcast I did with Ali. So I was just watching bands like Colour, Tubular, Blackfish, Shapes, all around the Birmingham area in England. So that was good fun those times. I miss them.
That was a really exciting sort of wave of bands, because I remember from that time, I guess my some of the compilations that were coming around that time, like there was like the Cherry Wave collected compilation.
Yes.
Ground, I think, was another one, and of course Musical Mathematics, who are sadly defunct, had all of their great compilations coming out, and that was a really good way of broadcasting a lot of those bands.
Cherry Wave, are they still going with that? I don't know.
I think they had a compilation out a year or two ago.
Used to discover bands on that. Mostly recently it was finding like post-rock bands on there, so a while back. I can't really remember. It's been a while since I looked at that.
That were great ways of accessing that music. Like like me, who's like in down under, and like don't really have too much of a MathRock scene here, unfortunately.
Same
Oh,
with me in Korea.
where I'm from, there's nothing. You get nothing over here in Canada. Maybe Toronto, but that's too far from where I live.
Right.
Where are you, Tyler?
I'm in Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada, which is like the center of Canada. The closest place
Right.
is Minneapolis, which is in the States. Then that's where we would maybe travel to, or Chicago, but that's like a 16-hour drive.
Wow.
so if we want to see any math rock, we have to travel.
That's like this connection, like with you've got Australia, Canada, and Korea, and it's pretty stable, so that's quite good.
Yeah, we're doing all right here.
Yeah, but I haven't lived in a country where you have to travel that far before. You know, like when I travel to Seoul, the capital, from where I live, it takes like 2 hours on the train. It's not that far, I guess.
It's not too bad. That's not too bad, but
but like I can't imagine. Nick's just done that drive today. How many hours? So.
Yeah.
You've traveled time zones today, right?
Yeah. Driving all day.
Geez.
Yeah.
We have a lot of land on this continent.
Yeah, I bet.
There's a surprising amount of Matthew bands in the Pacific West Coast, US. Is what huge asses. what a name. What a username that is. Yeah. All right. So let's move on. This week I've been studying I've been reading the History of Math, Part 3, on the Fecking Bahamas website. It's a really good read. That one is the jazz section, and how the odd time signature and how it added to MathRock, I guess, is a synopsis of that. a terrible one, I guess.
We owe William Covert the gratitude there. He's so William Covert is the drummer in Spaceblood, and he and I do the History of MathRock series.
Okay.
We call it that. He's got a background in history. That's what he studied in university. So he's really into the MathRock history, and I'm just sort of a budding fan as well, I suppose. But he's the one that put together that article, and it was really well put together, and I was really stoked on it. And I guess like my knowledge of jazz is nowhere near as good as his. So I found, like, sort of reading it like that. There's heaps to explore in that area, and I guess the tie-in with MathRock is quite strong.
Well, there must be so much research that goes into that, but it's really well written. I discovered so many new jazz artists as well from that, like the Dave Brubeck. That's an awesome CD. I've been listening to that album.
That's a good one for sure.
Yeah, it's a wonderful album. Really, really good. Yeah, I think that it usually take about a month or two to put everything together, just to go through just to curate everything. As I said, like, William took care of this particular episode by himself, which was, I guess, a couple of months of putting everything together. With previous ones, like the prog one that we put out, episode 2, and the MathRock episode 1, we basically just went through old zines like Chunklet, which was a 90s sort of underground music scene.
Yeah, there was
so many scenes. Right. Yeah. And so Chunklet had a lot of stake in the MathRock culture. And so we had to sort of go through all of those old zines and sort of look at interviews and stuff like that. William had by virtue he'd done an interview with Ian Williams. So he was able to pull out a lot of that stuff for the article as well. And we sort of had back and forth with Victor Villarreal from Owls and Ghost and Vodka, etc. He really felt that article as well. Like, he introduced me to a lot of my now favorite bands from that time, like Shudder to Think, and what other ones did he show me? Chavez and all these other really great. They're phenomenal. They put out a really sick EP last year too.
Yeah.
He introduced me to a lot of those bands. So I was super stoked. So anyway, yeah, we sort of had a lot of research sub projects to bring that stuff together, and hopefully people like it and are informed by it.
Nice. Yeah. Oh, it's like I said, it's well written and it's very informative. And if you're a fan of MathRock, it's a must read. I must say, like get a perspective on the history. Well, what's the fourth segment going to be? Because you got 5 on there, right?
I can't tell you that. What are you talking about? No, it's like the way that we put it together is that we decided to just do a MathRock one, and just like if we felt like sort of going down that track, we'll just work backwards and see if we can try and end up at a point where we're just talking about mathematical music in general. And so naturally, we went from prog and then to jazz. And I think that we were like our next idea was to go towards sort of classical, like Stravinsky and that sort of stuff, and maybe explore that sort of area. I have no background in that sort of stuff, so like I'm sort of like going in the deep end with that. But like we were thinking about maybe sort of going down that area, and then maybe like for a fifth part, just sort of bring it all together and sort of talking about odd time music in general. But it's all sort of a bit ambitious at the moment. We haven't really, we haven't started the fourth part yet, so so we'll get around to it. But that's the general idea.
Yeah. And how about for the MathRock news? You got any plans? Any upcoming stuff? Or?
We just been talking about a few things like we've been considering. We don't know for sure. We're trying to get a website up and going so we could start plugging a lot of the content that we would like to have. But nothing too crazy. Like we definitely been talking about putting on another music compilation for sure. There's just been so much good music coming out this last year. It'd be a shame not to, We've considered doing a podcast. We've considered putting out tapes. We've have a few ideas. We don't know which ones we're gonna pick and choose from to do. We would like to start writing reviews or articles and this kind of thing because definitely Fecking Bahamas is inspired us a lot to want to do stuff similar to that because people really enjoy that content, and we definitely have a lot of knowledge that we could provide and do that sort of thing.
Oh, cool stuff.
I think it's it's definitely a good idea. Like I think that for our website we've definitely tried to, just because it does take a bit of time to put together reviews and stuff like that. We started doing like I guess monthly sort of wrap-ups where we sort of try to put everything sort of bite-sized together, and
right, that's a cool idea.
People are really enjoying that. I think that the key thing I guess is like it's something that people can come back to. So it's almost like an almanac or something like that. Like I think that people really sort of enjoy that. I mean, like if our traffic is anything to go by, like that sort of helps people. So like it's definitely they're definitely good resources. So I would totally recommend definitely doing stuff like that.
Yeah, and the problem with like Facebook, using Facebook, is that like people want to search all the things we've posted, and we've been on there since 2010. That's a deep search, and people like we've seen some stuff recently on like from 2014. People would post in other groups using our posts and stuff, and we'll see that they've there's our comments in videos or things we've posted in the past, and it's crazy that people like search that deep. Because we're posting.
It's so hard because there's so many good bands at the moment. Like to get everything together, like when you're confined to just a scrolling page, like even as a website, like it's hard to hard to bring it all together.
I think it's great, right? It's like it's becoming. Well, it seems like it's becoming more and more popular every single year, right? More and more people are getting into the getting into MathRock. So what I started doing recently is I do the introducing series. So I'm just introducing like people that follow my channel, their bands and stuff. So like lesser known bands and stuff like that. So this seems to be going quite well with that. People like that. So I've only done 2 episodes. So
yeah.
Yeah.
You've got the best media, man. You've got the video.
Yeah, that's true.
It's like, I want to like talk about math bands and stuff. I can talk about them, and I want to show like, here's some awesome songs, or here's a snippet of like their music, and I'm like, oh, I can't do that. Like so.
Yeah, that's the problem.
So if I do like a cover of the song or something on guitar, then like I'll play all the parts myself. But I did a cover of Delta Sleep like about a year and a half ago, and I played the guitar and I sang it, and it got flagged. Like I couldn't. Sorry, I had to split the monetization with whoever owns that music, and it was me playing the guitar and singing it, and it's like crazy how accurate it is. It's like where I started singing, it says from here to here. There's like 1 minute something to here. Like this is copyrighted. Like like it, and I'm not singing it the same. It's a bit out of tune.
Yeah.
Still,
that's interesting. So they can still pick it up. That it's like.
Yeah,
that's amazing. Why isn't there like an app to help us, like when we're in a bar and we're like, oh, what's that song? No. Like it tells us what the thing is.
I think they exist, but only for like really popular music. Right?
Yeah, they do. They do. I think one's called Shazam or something like that. Or
oh right,
yeah.
Like put it up to the speaker.
Yeah.
If you could just like with your like not that with vocals, just kind of go, I want to hear this song,
Yeah,
it seems to work with melody and vocals, though it doesn't seem to track like harmony and texture and stuff. So
yeah,
because I've played countless guitar parts from other bands and it hasn't been flagged. But when at that one time I sang, that song, someone else's song, then it flagged it. So it's like, it's crazy.
Oh yeah.
So people always ask me, message me like, why can't you do this, do that kind of thing? And I always have to tell them, like, I don't want to get copyright strikes,
Yeah.
Not copyright strikes. It is a strike, but you get 3 strikes and you're off, right? So
that's how it works.
Yeah.
So the plan is to like to have sort of like segments on particular MathRock bands. Is that what you're saying, Steve, on your channel?
Well, that's what I wanted to do, but I can't do it. That's the problem. But what I've decided to do instead is just help out people that watch my content, right? And say thanks to them for watching. I just introduce their band because it's not going to get flagged, right? Because it's not owned by any it's not online, right? It's you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot the correct term for that. So but I got another one coming up soon. I just got to make that one, but they're fun, and I get quite a few submissions. But it's getting to the point now where I can't reply to everyone, and I haven't got a team. It's just me, isn't it? So
yeah,
comments and messages. There's people message me on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, that kind of thing, which is great. I try and help out as most people. I had some guy who months back, he posted about all theory stuff, and I never replied, and he got very angry about that. So,
oh jeez.
Yeah.
There's only so much time in a day, right? And it's just yourself. And
I work full time. On the writing a thesis at the moment as well. So like,
cool.
Yeah, I find that's one of the hardest things about like at least doing Fecking Bahamas is that we get so many submissions. So many good ones, and we just like, I mean, we all have jobs, and sometimes we just don't have the resources to to help everyone out. And there's just so many good bands out there, and we just want to be able to do everything we can, but sometimes we just don't have enough to to commit to it. So I guess we I mean, we try and put stuff out on Facebook as much as we can, and like I guess our shift towards doing sort of monthly wrap-ups is a way to bring all of our favorite releases together. But there's just so many bands.
Yeah, right.
Really, really hard. Like so many good ones, like Source that just came up. They're a sick band, and someone said Velodrome as well. They're a sick band as well. Like there's so many good bands at the moment. Like,
I think like the quality of bands keep growing, and so that's a problem because for those lower bands, they're you're less likely to listen to them because they're such quality bands. I know it sounds kind of bad, but some of the other bands, are so many other styles too that's going on right now. I feel like it's hard to, yeah, like you said, keep up, because then you start listening to other styles of music because there's like almost like branches of different math rock kind of or whatever.
And you can go down a rabbit hole, right? Just music all day.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. Like for me, I go search like Bandcamp a lot and
Right.
check the tags and stuff, and I'll be on there for hours if I haven't done it for a while. And yet, you said it's a rabbit hole, and then you start doing research on some of these bands yourself and seeing what they put out in the past, and it gets deep, and that takes a lot of time too. Like
These days, I like just been when I'm at work and I got like some downtime. I'll tick off a few bands and I'll go and research a bit about them online and just jot some stuff down about them. So a bit more informed that way. So
okay.
yeah. Because I
Yeah,
always
and
find it comes in handy later on when someone's talking about something and you actually, oh, yeah, I know about that now. So,
yeah.
cool stuff. Yeah. Well, I mean, you guys like just got so much knowledge on this subject compared to what I've got, but I've only got my own experiences. But, yeah, it's awesome to hear all this kind of stuff. Like,
yeah.
Well, where do you think? What should we talk about? So, how do you think MathRock has changed since you first heard it? Like when you first got into it, let's say, like what the scene was back then in your own experiences, I guess. Or yeah.
I guess yeah. Oh, you can go first, man. You go first, Tyler.
Oh, sure. You're already going. I'll finish after. It's all good.
I just that was pretty much. I was just about to go. Shit, I don't know. But no, no. I think that I guess for me, like when I first heard MathRock, a lot of the emphasis was on the percussion and not so much on the guitar. So the guitar was just sort of, it was a strum, and like all of the dissonance was coming from the percussion. It was led by the percussion, and then with time, it's obviously gone like way over towards the guitar being like the sort of the centerpiece for MathRock, with the sort of staccato, frenetic tapping motifs that that most people employ. So I guess for me, when I first sort of heard MathRock, in the early 2000s, I mean there were some bands around that time that were definitely doing pretty cool guitar-based stuff. Like End was a really was a band that I was really into, and Piglet was like that was really sick as well. Howler came out around 2007 or something like that, and there was Terra Melis as well. Like there were bands that were doing a lot of really guitar-based math rock, but there was for me a lot of the emphasis was on percussion. Although having said that, of course, there was obviously Don Caballero, and Ian Williams was a guitar virtuoso. So I guess for me that shift towards guitar,
I think a lot of it is the inclusion of like more electronics, and it's like the rise of popularity of like guitar pedals as well, like sonically changing the sound. And so we've still got the focus on guitar, but like there's a lot of electronics going on, and as well as like accompaniments as well, I say. But there's so many varieties out there now that it's just amazing what you can hear. Like I'm always surprised.
For sure.
But I think that I mean the best math rock for me is just got to be unpredictable. I mean, so that's what's intrinsic to math rock. I think like the best math rock is like a puzzle that like you're not going to get it straight away, and you have to go and listen over and over again to really sort of pass.
Definitely. And the experience of like watching that live as well is just another like it adds to it so much. Like the
definitely.
And like that's what really got me into it when I watched some of these bands. I was like, like listening to the CD is great, but then seeing it happen,
there's more behind the scene there, like
like, how are you
effects
doing
pedals
that
and
kind of
stuff,
thing?
and
the first time I saw something like that was when I saw. Do you know the band Shapes?
Yeah.
And they on their first EP, was it Get Your Learn On? I think it was. They have the song I can't remember now. It's in 6/8, and it's got like a looping guitar. And I watched them play that song. So like, you know, he loops on the pedal, and then, you know, they just do like a lot of erratic stuff over the top of it. But like, you can't even hear the loop at some points. But when it comes back, you know, when it's silence again, the loop's still in time. And it was just baffled me, like, you know, it's just so good. Like, it's how tight that, you know, you can be. And then, and then the bands I was doing at the time, you know, I want to do that. You know, I want to like have these disjointed, you know, rhythms and all these kind of crazy time signatures going on, and just like, it's just so interesting to watch live, right? It's like, you know, maybe when you start off, you're playing to like, 10 people, and like 2 of those people are into it, and the rest of it is like, what the hell is this, you know?
For sure.
And then you finally go to a show with quite popular bands, and everyone's into it, and you're like, yes.
Yeah, that's a good experience. Yeah,
definitely.
Yeah. It's almost like when you go to a show, it's almost like you have that epiphany. Oh, that's how they were actually doing it. Like, that's how they made it. Like there's some just like crazy fucking wonky bands like Noxious Foxes, for example, and like that made no sense to me until you actually like, you know, just go out and see them. Like, that's where it's kind of like the magician's trick is revealed, like in front of your eyes. Like,
for sure.
Yeah.
Awesome. And the one thing I wanted to add, did you guys see the recent talk of like, you know, there was like the article that, you know, guitar is dead?
No, I'm not familiar.
I think it was in the like famous American magazines. They're just saying it's like on its way out. And I listened, because I'm on YouTube all the time, so I just listen to the channels, and they were arguing like, you know, how it's not dead and stuff. I just wanted to like grab them and say like, you know, have you heard of MathRock? It's like guitar's like the most prominent thing in that music, and it's more and more popular like every single year. It's like
I'd say for myself, like for music, the thing of changing, I think that like I was saying before, like the bands are growing. You see, I think instead of like some other genres where bands start off really good and they don't, they can't maintain that level of success, and so they seem to fail. But with MathRock, I find a lot of bands just keep getting better and better and better, and we're getting super groups now, like Monobody, you know, where every guy in that band is unreal. Every single guy in that band. And if you go back and look at like Loose Lips Sink Ships or any of their other projects before that, you know, they're like, wow, these guys are extremely talented. And I think that's a big part of it is, you know, a lot of these guys don't use a lot of bells and whistles. They're just straight playing music. You know, they're not, you know, there's not heavy production on their music. It's just, they just plug in and play, like, especially with like Chon, when they first kind of started out, they weren't even using any pedals or anything like that. They were just plug in and play. And but again, with the bells and whistles or stuff like effects pedals and stuff, it's crazy to see a band like L1011. You know, you listen to that and you go, oh, this is super chill. And then you play it on YouTube, and the guy's playing a bass and a guitar, and the other guy's playing a piano and drums, and you're like, what? Like, and so you know this, and one of the other things that with tapping bands, like guitar tapping and stuff, I never really had a full appreciation until I've seen like Bulletproof Tiger. I got to see them live, and
you're lucky.
Yeah, that's the only good Canadian band that I know for sure of. You know, that we were lucky. The MathRock News brought us to Toronto, and we went to see. Did you ever listen to Junior Bob before?
Yeah.
So the drummer from Bulletproof Tiger, and they had a guitar player, just a 2-piece, and so we got invited to their house party, and because Chris Stapps was messaging them early on, and we watched them play in their living room, and it was a surreal experience because I never experienced anything like that before. And then later on in the week, it was Bulletproof Tiger, TTNG, and Terramellos playing in a show. And like what?
That's so
that was a show and a half. I don't even know. But after the show, we got to hang out with the bands after, because we were hanging out with the Junior Bob and those guys, it was a surreal experience. You know, like I got
I
to
bet,
shoot
I
pool with Tim Collis and stuff. But
Nice.
yeah,
He's such a nice dude, man. Like Tim.
he
Yeah, those
is.
dudes are hella cool. They're really cool guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, the brothers for sure. I hope for whatever their new record is. I can't wait for whatever they're doing next, because
Yeah.
they just keep like they keep growing as a band too. You know. Yeah.
Awesome stuff, man. I've never met them, spoke to any of them, but seen them play. But
Yeah. That's another one that, like, like when I first seen them play, like they're doing some really technical stuff, and a lot of people don't realize how hard that stuff is.
Yeah, like Jesus, like that's like pull that off live. It's one thing to play in your bedroom or a band practice, right? But like doing that stuff live, it takes a long time. Like to like get that down, and you gotta be practicing all the time as well.
Oh, for sure. And like playing with that drumming, like if you mess one thing up, that's it. It's over. You can't hide it. It's too tech. It's not like jazz or something where you can kind of just like play a couple extra notes. Because they play like if you watch any of those Audio Tree sessions, like it's exactly like the records. They play exactly like the records.
I wish I could have seen that tour they just did with Chan and.
I did. I got to do that. Yeah, the Super Chan Bros tour too at Trico.
Yeah.
Trico's amazing. I think I hope that band grows. I could see them growing big. They got a really interesting style for sure.
They're apparently pretty famous in Japan at the moment. Yeah, like they're really getting apparently.
Really, yeah.
Which is pretty cool. Yeah, we've been trying to get them to play Bahamas Fest, but they're too popular.
They're too popular.
Too popular. I saw them in Seoul. Was it was this year? I think it was. Yeah, and that was a good show. And they played with this Korean band, and they mix electronic music and traditional Korean instruments. It was a dark set. Did you guys watch the Winter Olympics? They played the closing ceremony. if you happen to catch that.
No, I missed that. No.
I forget the name of that band, but yeah. I saw Toe as well in Korea. I do get to see the Japanese bands, which is just quite cool. But
that is those bands are like Light and Toe.
I really want to see Elephant Gym and
Elephant Gym
as well. Like
the
venue we played at when I went to Taiwan, Forest had played there. I was like, oh, I wish I'd seen that show.
Yeah,
great.
For sure.
I think Ali saw them. He said last night. I think he did in Hong Kong. So.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
I
think there's a lot of really exciting stuff happening over on that side of the world in terms of math and post rock and everything in between. Yeah.
Yeah. Like I said, for us, it's like we play in Korea. The crowds hit and miss, but like we played in Japan and we went to Taiwan as well, and it's just the audience were much more appreciative of what we played. So we want to do that more often, So hopefully from this October we'll start playing some more shows again. So with mountains. So.
I was to say, one of my favorite things about MathRock is that it because most of it's instrumental, it creates a nice playing field for all these other countries to put out music and stuff, especially the Japanese and the South American bands, and like you like some of the biggest bands are for sure Japanese bands and stuff like Toe and all that, and it's really cool to hear all these other styles of music because they bring what they have been doing for years. Like
it's just like Japan has its own style of math rock. It is. Crazy,
It is, yeah.
And then like you go to like Hong Kong and Taiwan and head further south, and like they're all like variations of it, and it's really cool.
One thing I really like about the Japanese scene is the crossover with pop and idol. We've been putting on, like with Bahamas Fest, we've had this band called Soratog Sakana, which is like this it's almost like it's like a pop group of like There's 4 sort of adolescent girls, and it's the music is organized by one of the members of Haisuo no Nasa. And it has this really awesome sort of like there's pop textures mixed with this really sort of frenetic, dissonant, mathy sort of music. It's really, really cool. It's really, really
yeah, it sounds
like
pretty
that. I mean,
exciting.
that's one example. And there's so many good things over there. Like
Yeah.
so many good bands that really sort of interweave that J-pop style. Marmalade Butcher is another really good one as well. Like
Yeah.
Have you guys been over to Japan?
I went for the 2016 Bahamas Fest. It costs a lot.
Yeah, right.
To get over there. Which is a bit of a pain. But this year we're having our last Bahamas Fest, unfortunately. So I think we'll probably be going over for that one.
Oh, nice.
There's nails in the coffin.
Yeah.
Whereabouts is it in like out the city, or is it in like Shibuya or something like that?
Well, no, it's next one over, Shinjuku. So
okay, yeah.
Yeah, so there's 2 venues there that are next to each other called Mars in Motion, and Tak, our Japanese correspondent, he puts it all together with those 2 venues, and it sort of came together because because our first compilation was the Japan compilation, and a lot of the bands that were associated with that were all part of the same scene, and because it sort of did really well, Tak went to these venues and said, you know, like, we've been booking all of these bands that just put out this compilation. It's internationally, you know, doing pretty well. How about we make an event out of it? And then it's sold all right, and we broke even, so we just sort of kept on doing it.
Oh, yeah. Nice. Yeah. It's just so much fun, like just being in Japan anyway. Like watching, like getting to watch the music you like is even better. So I'm sweating a bit because it's like 32 degrees and I haven't got a fan and I'm in a room with no air conditioning. So I've got glorious sweat patches. It's getting up to like 37 these days. Like, it's crazy.
Yeah, that's hot.
What's the weather like Canada?
Pretty sim. Not as hot, but like in the 30s and stuff like that. Yeah, it gets really hot in the summer, and where it gets to like -50 is sometimes in the winter. It's unbearable. It's unbearable in the.
The coldest it gets here is minus 20, I'd say, but like that's unbearable. Like -50 is like you just die if you walk outside.
Yeah, 10 minutes. 10 minutes. That's all you got.
Is it? Am I correct in saying it's kind of cooler down in Australia at the moment, or is it?
Yeah, it's probably about 10 degrees outside. So it's not like crazy sort of Canadian harsh cold weather, but like, those other times of the year. But it's, I guess we're more renowned for our hot weather.
Yeah.
Hot, dry weather.
Yeah, hot, dry. Yeah.
Korea's like, it's really cold in the winter and it's really hot in the summer, and then you have like a month of spring and a month of autumn or fall or whatever you want to call it. So it's like, yeah, man. It's this.
Do you reckon that? Do you reckon in Canada, because it's colder, do you reckon that guitarists, because their hands are cold, they can't like tap as fast? Maybe that's.
I don't know. Look at Bulletproof Tiger right there, tapping pretty good.
You don't want to be playing outdoor shows.
Yeah. The thing is, we're stuck inside all day. We got all this extra time in the winter to just play music and.
If the weather's cold.
Yeah. It's too cold to go outside. Yeah, stay in the basement, play music all day, listen to music all day. Maybe yeah. Because even like I think that's what happens to like a lot of American bands too. Like even Chicago gets fairly cold in New York.
Right, yeah.
Yeah. And they've got some pretty big music scene there for sure.
Cool stuff. I'm like smack bang in the middle of a city, so I got way too much going on.
Fair enough. At least you always have something to do, though. That's all right.
I guess so. It's pretty cheap here for getting around and stuff as well. So yeah,
not bad.
Yeah, night out doesn't cost too much either. So it's always good. If you drink domestic beer, that is.
It's a different story, yeah.
Got any other good sort of MathRock bands coming out of Seoul at the moment? South Korea?
There's not really a scene for it. There's a big this kind of an underground post-rock scene, definitely, with like elements of like math, like Dabda is a pretty good one. We played with them a few months back. They have like definitely elements of like odd time signatures, and they're like got a huge following, very catchy. If you heard of them before, Dabda, like DA,
No.
Dab. I mean, it's like these stages of denial. that's their band name, basically. So, yeah, they got like fronted by a female vocalist and guitarist, and I think the rest of them are guys, if I recall rightly. Yeah, but they're pretty awesome. And there was a band that Ali was in, post-rock band called November on Earth. Most of the mathy stuff is usually Ali's in the band. That's Ali is the MathRock scene here, I guess.
So you guys were in Mountain, is that right?
Yeah, we're in Mountains together. Yeah, and he's done like lots of other projects as well. So
Visuals, I think, is one. Is that right?
Yeah, Visuals and Color was before. Colors, sorry, I should say. And he's in. Whenever I speak to him, I'm like, I'm in like this band now. So he's either got like 5 bands or 1 band. He's
rotating.
He loves music, man. He loves playing.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Dude.
Yeah,
That
guy's a machine, man.
Someone said Tier Park, which is
Tier Park as well. Yeah.
Oh, Tier Park, yes.
Yeah, we did some
friends with the guitarist John. Yeah, they're good too. Sorry, I completely forgot. I passed on Tier Park. Andrew's other band, Dogstar as well. They're quite heavy, technical, noisy. Like if you check them out. But Andrew did. There's a Korean radio. It's from Canada. It's called Sounds of the Korean Underground, and he was on their latest episode. So he did a lot of bands from Korea. So there's quite a lot of alternative style bands, and generally on that radio show, he puts a lot of like unknown Korean bands on there. So that's a good place to, if you're trying to find some like underground Korean bands, really.
Cool.
Yeah, the Sounds of the Korean Underground. If you search for that on Facebook, you'll find it. Yeah, it's this awesome show. Yeah, but for us, we're practicing and we're going to be back at it in October. So
nice.
We're reworked, a bit less erratic and more steady, I'd say. That's what we're going for. So, yeah. How about you guys? Do you play any instruments? So?
Yeah, I play bass guitar
cool.
guitar, and then Brad and John also play instruments, guitar, and John's a multi-instrumentalist, and so it's pretty cool. That's how we kind of like helped us get into MathRock a little bit. So we wanted to play that style of music. Like we haven't put anything out yet, but having that knowledge of music theory or just being able to play an instrument has made us progress.
Awesome, yeah.
How about you, Nick?
No, not really at the moment. I've got, I don't really have enough time to like, I mean, that's such a cop out, man.
Oh, no.
But I play bass, but like, yeah, I mean, I'm away quite a bit. Like I research, I'm a geologist, so I do a lot of research away.
Nice.
Like, so I can never really sort of like bring people together to get anything done. So I guess my music, is like Fecking Bahamas, basically. It's just being a journalist. Like I don't have any sort of time to.
Yeah, fair enough.
Geology.
I do miss it. Like I do miss like playing music, definitely.
Yeah.
You could have some like geology terms.
I guess like that's the closest to rock I'm gonna get, maybe. Like.
Right. Awesome stuff. Yeah. It's we're all working hard, right? Come back from work, and this is what I work on, right? Doing this channel, so I love it. This is what I like doing. So it's like my second job. So.
Yeah, that's definitely what it's like for most of the guys in Fecking Bahamas and presumably MathRock News as well. Like we just like we try to do this. We have to do this outside of our work schedule. Yeah,
for
so,
sure.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
It doesn't
So we
pay
just
the
try,
bills.
we sort of do it.
Math doesn't pay the bills.
No.
Yeah, we just try to just try and spread the love. Like we get like such a kick out of this sort of music, and like
Oh yeah.
Of course,
you know, it's like gotta like help people, help people find it and sort of
Yeah. I think like building a community is important for this type of music, because it's once I started like posting a lot, I started noticing like there's certain people commenting, there's certain people liking, and you start to see this community, this picture in bands and stuff like that, all working together to. It's nice. I like it.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think that, I mean, like for a scene that's already so small, and we have the internet that brings everyone together, it's like
that's the biggest.
Like, let's integrate and try and make a bit of a collective. It's like the best time to have a scene. Like MathRocks never had anything like this, before. Like we had like zines and shit that you like send away like $2 to go and get. Like, but now we have the internet and Bandcamp and all of these ways to like to put ourselves out there. And I think like one of the cool things is like that we have a festival like Arctangent where you have people come and then like when you go to that festival and then you see people that have come from like Iceland and like New Zealand or like whatever, and they're all there for the one time, and it's like, the internet did that. Like,
for
like,
real.
it can feel like we're geographically isolated, but then like we're all in the same spot at one time, and it feels really cool.
Of course, yeah. That's one thing I want to go to is Arctangent someday.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, we're really stoked on. Yeah, we're my wife and I are going over this year, and we're really excited.
Awesome.
Seeing all our friends, and we're really excited.
Jealous. There's a lot of great bands playing there. A lot of great MathRock bands.
Yeah. Shellac playing. I'm stoked on seeing.
That's amazing. Yeah. I'd love to see them, man.
Yeah, Tangled Hair, Giraffes.
Yeah.
So I Watch You From Afar. I think those are some of the bands playing, right?
Yeah, and so I watched from afar coming to Australia for like the first time. Which is crazy. One of the first like times a MathRock band has come to Australia. Like
that happened to me too. That's the only one that came through. We were supposed to come with Russian Circles, and then Russian Circles got stuck. But we got to hang out with them too, and so I Watch You From Afar. Really awesome dudes, for real. And they're a band that's getting. I like where they're going with their music right now. I enjoy it.
Yeah, I've had one experience of someone noticing me that I didn't know. That was at the Trico gig in Seoul. And this one guy, this Korean guy, come up to me after, and he's like, he's like, let's talk about MathRock, and then he got a picture with me.
So that's awesome, though.
It was like first person. And then a couple of months later, I was playing a show in Busan. I was wearing like one of my T-shirts, and this guy come over from England. He was like drinking with me most of the night, and then he's like, he pointed at my T-shirt, and he's like, oh, you like that dude? I was like, I am that dude. He's like, what? And then like his face and the whole way he started talking to me just suddenly like changed, like he was talking to a celebrity or something.
Yeah, that happened to me. I was in Chicago and I saw the guys from Death Grips, and I got starstruck. I couldn't believe they were there. It was so odd, the behavior, I don't,
you don't know what to say, you don't know what to
yeah, exactly. And those guys are serious dudes. I don't know if you listen to them, but
I've heard of them. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Like that's one of my favorite albums this year so far. Fantastic.
It's wacky, man.
Yeah.
I just love hearing those little like suggestions of like Zach Hill's chops in there, like takes me back to Haller and like Chill Pill and all that stuff. Super cool.
I was gonna say earlier as well, like when we're talking about getting so many submissions and stuff, like because the access to like, it's cheaper to record. You got access to like new technology is cheaper, and it's like it's easier to record at home. So. Yeah, so that's. I think that has a lot to do with it as well.
Yeah, we one of the first articles that we did for the site was on bedroom musicians, and so we interviewed Pliny and Sithue and Zeph Chasing Kara, like sort of older bands from that time. Basically, like trying to bring out those ideas that like we're now in the age where like, you know, anyone can sort of do this. They can sort of like pursue that, you know, that goal and basically put an album out. Like it's a really cool time to make music. Like I mean, my wife just
that
as well.
CD was all written by just by Pete himself, right? So
it was.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
He did it in, you know, the drums. He did it all in like Guitar Pro and stuff like that, and then exported it into like a drum what do you call it, like software on it, and just programmed it that way. It's pretty cool. Like I've done that a bit like myself, but man, it's tedious. Like, I'd rather just learn to play drums.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. It's crazy. It's crazy to see how the drummer actually play that stuff now. It's like, what? Like
just playing someone's Guitar Pro tablet tune.
Yeah.
drum tablet tune.
I guess that's what sort of makes, like, you know, I see like MathRock proliferate now. Is that people can like basically just make their own albums, and if they're good, then people are going to share them. And
I get
that's all it takes, right? Like, and that's just one genre. Like, there's we're saturated with new music now. Like, so we shouldn't be complaining about the fact that we've got all these submissions. It's just like the natural like discourse of music right now. Like,
I've had a few people contact me and they ask me like, oh, you know, I just made this EP, put it on Bandcamp, and I listen to it and I'm like, you know, who's all the other guys? It's like, it's just me, you know, I programmed everything. I'm like, whoa, you know, that's amazing. Like,
yeah, there's been some really good, like, definitely ones like in the last couple of years, like where people just, you know, made their own albums and they're sick. Like American Beach is a really good one from in Australia. Owain, Cat Bamboo, like all of these, like, just sort of, you know, done at home. Like it's
DIY.
And they're really good. Like they're really talented. Yeah, it's super cool.
All right, so we've been going for an hour and 10 minutes, so I guess we should wrap it up fairly soon. So I guess you need to get some sleep soon, Nick. Right? So
mate, I'm a possum. I'll stay up all night.
Yeah. Attaboy.
I gotta teach 8 classes tomorrow, so I don't stay up late.
My day is just getting started here, so
right.
Good to go.
Man, I wish I could go back. Yeah. So what should we talk about for last thing? I guess so. We spoke about where MathRock was going already.
That would have been
maybe. I don't know. Like we already spoke about anything you guys are going to be doing as well with your MathRock news or that kind of thing. So maybe we could open it to some questions, I guess, in the chat there. Last 10 minutes or so.
Yeah, I've been kind of keeping in.
Yeah. It's just people saying hello, I guess.
Naming some of the bands we've mentioned.
What's everyone's album of the year in terms of MathRock so far? Like,
that's a good question.
What are the AOP ones?
Yeah.
Ooh, all right. So Tangled Hair for me.
Yeah.
I can't stop listening to that. I think what they're doing is so interesting. Like with his vocals, instead of the vocals being like the main thing or like the music following the vocals, it's kind of like this. They know when to stop singing and let the instruments take over too. And the songwriting is just insane. And from song to song, there's just so much different textures to it.
Yeah, I love James, the drummer. Like, it's just so good.
Yeah, he's so good. He's like, I watched a few of his YouTube videos and stuff, and it's like, wow, that's insane. And another one is like Locktoe right now.
Yeah, Locktoe's pretty good.
We played with them when we played in Japan. They were really good.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, in a practice room. It was like
in a practice room, eh?
The show was in a practice room, so like so everyone stood around the edge, you know, who come to watch the show, and then the drums, the amps, and everyone was facing each other in the band. So we played like with Pens Plus, if Heard of them as
Yeah,
well?
Pens Plus is great. Yeah.
And Loxo, and the other one was Nengu. If you heard of them.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah,
dude,
yeah.
that's it.
Those are all sick bands. Yeah.
Yeah, we played that. That was like
That's a.
the thing is they all played, and then we were the headlining band because we'd come there
Oh.
to play, and we're just like, oh shit. They're all
Yeah,
really
that
good.
you better do. Yeah, no doubt. Those
Man,
bands like.
Pence Plus put on one of the best live shows I've seen, man. Their drummer is just like animated, like
Yeah.
yeah. That was like I won't forget that memory ever. Like so good.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's people saying? So no one's really saying it.
Gyocho. Someone said Gyocho. I reckon Gyocho is. Yeah, they are where it's at the moment.
Oh, yeah.
Like Dojiro is just such a gun on guitar. Like I was so bummed when Uchu Kambini parted ways, but like Dojiro was doing a lot of solo stuff. He did our Bahamas Fest, and he just killed it.
He's insane. I think he might be the best out there. I don't know. I'm just putting that out there. I think he might be the best out there. He's the guy's watching his YouTube play. Yeah, he's got his technique. He's got such serious technique. I don't even know.
You know the Kombini. There's like what is it, like how Japanese people call convenience stores.
Yeah, I thought that's he said it was like space convenience store or something like that.
I guess sushi is probably space in Japanese, but konbini is like they say like instead of convenience, it's a konbini. Yeah, that's where that comes from. Yeah.
Interesting.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Dojiro is actually his family live here in Melbourne. Yeah, they live in this beautiful country suburb called Belgrade. So he comes over here. It's pretty cool.
It's a small world, isn't it? Like it's just
it is a really small world.
Yeah. I was sorry, I forgot to add to the story earlier. That guy I was speaking to when I played that show, didn't realize who it was. His friend that was there, she was roommates with the guitarist and singer from Delta Sleep. It's like at university, so it's like crazy, like small world. Like
it's very cool.
Yeah, well, housemates, I should say. Yeah, not roommates. Yeah,
that's awesome.
Cool stuff. Got new thoughts on the cover album, which we spoke about earlier.
That's fucking sick. It's really good. Yeah. They're gonna go far and do well.
Yeah, they just started their tour, right? And have you heard the band Standards? I did an introduction.
Yeah. That's the band that
they're amazing.
Yeah,
they did our. We put a tape out recently with In the Clouds, and we pulled together just some of our favorite bands from across the world. Standards was one of the ones we picked from the USA, but we also worked with Tia Puff on that as well.
Right, okay, yeah, cool.
Yeah, and like they're just such enthusiastic dudes. They're really cool. Other bands called Stealth, which are really really good as well, like a jazz sort of centered band. Both are like crazy musicians, like really really good and really imaginative, and really good about making content. Like
yes,
really good at it. Like,
I wish I had those ideas for my.
Watch and learn.
They're so easy to share. Like on Fecking Bahamas, it's like it writes itself. Very cool. I think some of the albums that I'm excited about this year are some of the older bands coming back, like Sheer Accident. And Koenji Hiaki as well. The guy from Ruins, his other project. It's really cool to see those older bands sort of coming back and bringing some pretty good old time. It's really rad. I think they're some of my favorite ones this year.
Cool.
Yeah. Space Corolla as well. I think was that this year as well.
Oh yeah.
That was fucking dope.
Could be. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Lots of really good.
Yeah, for me, the next one's gonna be Delta Sleep and Toe, I guess. Like, them two.
Yeah,
they're gonna be sick. Really cool.
And then there's always the surprises that we don't know are coming, like when like Dio's trio coming out at the end of the year. That was insane.
Yeah.
We have like a wrap up at the end of the year. Do you think? on your pages? Like,
Yeah, we do a end of year report thing where basically it's like a leaderboard. So like we just get people to vote their favorites, and then it's just sort of
yes, I remember.
Yeah, we're always arguing which one's the best here at the MathRock News. We're always like compiling our list, and it's always changing. It's always like there's just too many good options. It's too hard. It's too hard.
It also like depends on your mood as well, like or like what you're into at that time, right? Because you could say, like, oh, this is my favorite band, and then like a week later, like, oh, this is my favorite band.
Something, yeah.
Actually, so one thing that we have a lot on our in our group is that like we often have discussions about whether something is math or not. That's always one as well.
That's touchy ground. That's touchy ground.
We want to be inclusive at the best of times, and then sometimes it's just like, yeah, it's very tricky. Is this more emo or like? You know?
All right. Well, the way I look at it is like, yeah, it can be like emo. It's not exactly math, but like they're just everyone is into it. Seems to like that style of music as well as that. So it's like they kind of go together in a way, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there's a bit of a history like with emo and math rock.
Of course, yeah.
There is for sure.
Yeah. I gotta start listening to some of these bands. It's just...
Yeah, there's lots. Pyramid Scheme right now. I'm hoping. I'm in, like those guys are just so crazy good, but yeah, Pyramid Scheme for sure. If you haven't checked them out yet, you should definitely check them out.
Yeah, they're a pretty gnarly band. Yeah. I'm gonna shout out to Land Wars as well from
yes.
Another really
Yeah, you guys had on did you see two Pissed?
Yeah, Two Pissed. Yeah. A little bit of stuff with them. We have a show coming up before Arctangent. It's an Arctangent sort of pre-show, which
nice. They're playing that. Yeah. Bass player is a good friend of mine, Carl.
Oh, right on.
Cool.
Yeah. We jammed together a few times. I play drums and he played guitar, but he's really good, like guitarist as well, like playing in open tunings and very creative. He plays bass in that one. A/B's it with I think a guitar and a bass amp, right? Or is it just two bass amps? I'm not sure. Probably a bass and a guitar amp, right? So that's good. Yeah, there's so many two pieces out there these days. It's hard to find. It's hard to form a three piece, isn't it?
Like you find enough guys to play this style of music, right? And it's kind of easier too, I guess. Like just need a bass and a drummer, or guitar and drummer. And there's like. Stuff's pretty technical sometimes.
I've seen quite a few bands just two pieces. They fill out the sound pretty well. And there's this one band that they're not math rock band, but I forget their name now. But the guy has a bass that he has guitar strings and bass strings on it, like just and he'll A/B them. So like he just strums this chord. He is playing other stuff, but it just one's coming out of the guitar amp and the other one's out of the bass. It sounds really full.
Yeah.
Like pretty sound like.
Well, even with like TTNG, what they got for that bass guitar thing he's got there. He's got
it's some job, isn't it?
There's like a 20-minute video explaining what that is. In terms of like what he uses with his amps and effects pedals in order to create this sound where it's like. It looks like he's just playing a guitar, but then he gets these heavy bass tones. It's like some kind of Jaguar guitar that's like, it's almost like a baritone.
Got into floral as well. I really like that too.
Yeah.
And giraffes, this guy's saying as well.
Yeah.
They did the AMA on Reddit yesterday, was it? Or the day before?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Red. That's still a thing apparently.
Yeah. Looks like it.
It was actually I scrolled through it. It was actually really insightful. Like they had some really cool responses from people.
Sean did one a few years back. I was on that one. Like it was kind of cool. Like, all right, so I guess we should wrap this up then. And
fair enough.
Cool.
Yeah. So I want to say thank you for joining me. This has been awesome. Very insightful for me. Got a lot to take away from this. I'm hoping everyone that tuned in enjoyed it too. I think
thanks for having us.
This is fun. It's fun. And we'll have to try and collaborate again in the future on something as well. Yeah.
Definitely. There's the other
Right on.
boys would be down too for sure in the math room. So
If you got, that sounds fantastic. Yeah. The more the merrier, the more help. So, all
for
right. So, Nick, I guess it's good night, and
Yeah.
yeah, good night, bud.
have a good day. All right. Thanks for watching. All right. See you then. Bye
See you
bye.
later.
Bye.
Yeah.
Bye.